Hi there, guys. I'm Nathan.
Hi, I'm Michael.
Welcome to Lecture 0 for Logic. We thought we'd just sort of make this introductory video to give you a little bit of a course overview, talk about some practicalities. No real content here, but just to sort of familiarize you with what we're really aiming to do and how the course is going to work. So we've got a slide here with all the course learning goals. We are definitely not going to read these out to you because it would take too long. But the long and the short of it is the big takeaway from this course is that you'll learn 2 formal languages. These are languages designed specifically to help us track down and express various logical notions. And that's really what we're going to be doing, is trying to get to grips with what we'll call truth functional logic, and then building from there to first order logic. So we'll tell you a little bit more about the exact content, but again, those are the broad goals here.
So we'll have lectures and tutorials. The lectures will be in person with a backup recording. This will be on Monday morning, 10:45 in the WZ building. We'll also have a tutorial meeting every week. That will be on Thursdays at 4:45 in the same building.
Now, one thing to note is attendance for both the lectures and the tutorials is strongly encouraged, not mandatory, but strongly encouraged, especially the tutorials. So really what we're going to be doing in this class to kind of spoil things is it's somewhere in between maths and learning a foreign language. And as people who are working desperately on Dutch know, the only real way to kind of learn a language is to practice it every week. And that's why the tutorials are really where so much of the real work is done in this course. So the aims of the tutorials will be us kind of working through homework material, working through questions that'll be similar to what's on the exams. So again, strongly encouraged, not required. But maybe it's useful now to tell you a little bit. Right, we told you some about the practicalities. You're probably concerned with how is your grade going to be determined? So the core here is that there's 100 points going, and your grade is going to be determined by your score out of this 100 points. And there's 3 forms of assessment that are involved. There's homework assignments, which they're set up for every week, and you can get a maximum of 20 points. There's a midterm exam, which is for 40 out of the 100 points. And there's a final exam, which is also for 40 out of 100 points. To pass the class, you need to score 55 points or more. And the important thing with this is it doesn't matter where those 55 points come from. So in theory, you could get 20 points on the homework assignments, 20 points on the midterm, and 20 points on the final, and touchdown Jesus. That's 60 points. That's a passing grade. You could also get perfect score on the homework assignments, 20 out of 20. You could get a 40 on the midterm and a 0 on the final exam. That's fine too. There's no minimum score for any mode of assessment. What we want you to do, of course, right, this is the minimum. We'd like you to do better, but this is the sort of minimum. So let's tell you a little bit about each form of these assessments here. So the first form are the homework assignments. The homework assignments are done weekly. We'll predominantly be working through these in the tutorials. And importantly, it's not just a kind of homework assignment where we give you some problem set and let you just go and do it. We actually want you to self-correct your homework. So what that means is that along with the textbook, we've given you a solutions book. In order to submit your homework and get the full points for each assignment, you need to do all the questions that are assigned and check your answers against the solutions. So you can get a 0 on the homework by just doing none of it. You can get a 1 by doing some of the homework or doing all the homework but not checking, or you can get 2 points on each bit by doing all the questions and self-correcting. So that's the homework. Now, importantly, in the second half of the course, the very end, we'll also have some open-ended kind of response pieces. These aren't going to be like the exercises where they're coming with this self-corrected textbook answer sheets. Instead, they're going to be open-ended mini essay questions. We'll talk more about them when we get close to the time. Of course, there's also exams. The midterm and the final, as I've said, are both worth 40 points each. The exams will be built out of questions of the exact same types as on the homework. Now, the midterm exam will cover the material in the first half of the course. I'm going to talk about that in just a second. The final exam will cover material just in the second half of the course. So, again, they're separated here, right? The content in the first half is just in the midterm. Content in the second half is just in the final. Of course, in order to do the stuff in the final, it builds on the stuff we did in the first half. So, you can't just sort of jump and pick and choose. But we've got the dates here. We'll keep you up to date if those change. Note that the date for the midterm is in October. The final exam is in the middle of December, and there'll be resets for both. That will be in kind of late January. Notably, there's also reset opportunities for the homework. You can look at the course syllabus for more information there. So that's really it about in terms of grading and assessment. We thought we'd now switch to talk a little bit about course content.
Yes, so the plan that we have now that will hopefully work is that I teach classes 1 to 7, and there we learn 2 logical systems. There are actually many other logical systems, but these are the very good and famous one to start with. These are the true functional logic and the first order logic. We'll cover in particular 2 aspects of these systems, the semantics and the syntax. You can think of the syntax as the rules of grammar of this language, this new language that you're going to learn, and the semantics is more like when are these weird sentences that you're going to learn, when are they true and when are they false. Okay, so a lot of work will go into understanding the syntax and semantics of true functional logic and first order logic in the first 7 weeks. And then you will take that knowledge and continue to the second block to use it.
Yeah, so what we're going to do in the second half of the semester is we're going to first extend our use and application of truth functional logic. And we're going to do that in 2 ways. So first, we're going to learn what we call a proof system for TFL. This is basically a particular, not quite a language, but a tool for using this formal language for constructing formal proofs. So it's really a way to articulate and draw out highly detailed, very specific, clear, step-by-step argumentation. That'll be the first thing we do. That'll basically be weeks 8 and 9. Then in weeks 10 and 11, we'll further extend TFL by talking about how we can use this language to talk about modality. Modality here understood in terms of what must be and what can be. This will involve, again, building on all of the things that we've done in the first half. So we'll need to have that secure foundation, but we'll kind of extend everything that we've done. Finally, we'll wrap up by thinking about how to apply first order logic into various philosophical debates. And that will first involve looking at this notion of ontological and theoretical commitment, something that's very important in philosophy of science. And then some fun little puzzles about the nature of identity, which will turn on how exactly we understand the strength of a very special predicate we'll introduce in first order logic. So the upshot really here is that we'll spend that first half of the semester getting really good at using these 2 languages and using these logical tools. And in the second half, we'll extend and apply these formal tools that we've learned. So that's the plan, and we hope that sounds kind of fun, because honestly, I think we both really enjoy this stuff. But just to kind of wrap up a little bit, so I guess the first thing to say in wrapping up is that if you have any accessibility issues, please let us know as soon as you can. We're very happy to find ways to make things work. We don't want to make this harder than it is. And it is important to note just to put all of our cards on the table. Logic, formal logic, it can be quite hard.
Yeah, it can be a new way of thinking of things that you haven't encountered before. Yeah,
and that's okay. I mean, you shouldn't be discouraged that it's hard. We're in this together. Michael and I are here to help you. Again, I think it's honest to say we both really enjoy this stuff.
Yeah, and we're really excited about letting other people know how much we like it. Yeah,
let us convert you to the cult. No. But importantly, if you are struggling, if things aren't clicking, please feel free to contact us. You can email us. You can use the integrated email function in Canvas. It's easy to get a hold of us. And I guess the final thing to really say here is, right, logic is hard, but it can be really fun and extremely rewarding if you're willing to put the work in. And we're going to do our best to make it exciting, to make it accessible, to make it understandable. So yeah, I think it's going to be a good semester.
Yep, we're excited about it.
Nice.
And the last thing is next week.
Yeah.
The first meeting. So in the first meeting, you will meet me flesh and blood. This will be Monday, the 26th of August at 10:45. In the first meeting, we'll talk more about what is logic and why we study it. We'll talk about the notion of validity, which is central in the study of logic, and a bit of the basic symbolization. So what are the symbols that we use in formal logic? For preparation, we ask you to please to read pages 1 to 14 of our textbook for all X, which you can find on Canvas.
Cool. Thank you guys for listening, and look forward to seeing you all soon.
See you soon. Bye.
Bye.